First, we cover Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now. Then we cover Marina Devon's Don't Look Back. What's next? Adam McKay's Don't Look Up?
Let's
not Don't Do That.
Oh, don't do that.
Ah.
I was going to ask, like, what's the similarities between this, Lord of the Rings, and The Rehearsal?
Bilbo, Frodo,
Lego.
Rings.
No, it's like the filmmaking. This is not a trick question.
Huh?
The filmmaking.
The filmmaking.
Monica Bellucci.
We'll talk about it later.
I don't know.
What?
Wait, no. No, tell me now.
I'll tell you now. It's like the part where she becomes small.
Oh, perspective.
That's it. It's not a joke.
Thank you for listening to Deep Cut.
Some very deep, insightful film commentary happening on this podcast.
That's filmmaking.
You want to say it clean? That's filmmaking?
That's filmmaking.
Keep both of those in.
And that's podcasting.
Now this is podcasting.
I'm Wilson Lai.
I'm Benjamin Yap.
I'm Eli Sands.
You're listening to Deep Cut.
On Deep Cut, we compare a director's most popular film with a personal favorite chosen by one of us.
We also discuss the director's life and career to bring context that helps us view their movies as they may want us to.
If you're enjoying the show, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. Better still, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you'd like to share a message with us, feel free to drop us an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. We read them and we'll try to get back to you.
What? Really? That was great. That was really good. We read them. And we try to get back to you.
You can also find us at deepcutpod.com to find links to our socials, Discord, and Patreon.
Welcome back to our mini-series on the films of Marina Devon, French filmmaker, sometimes considered part of the French New Extreme, sometimes not. She would not consider herself part of the French New Extreme. But we are picking up after our discussion on her 2002 feature debut, In My Skin, Dans ma peau, with Don't Look Back, her 2009 sophomore feature. Before we get into it, please be warned that we'll be going in depth, and this will be a spoiler-filled discussion. If you don't mind those spoilers, feel free to listen on.
This is really crazy, random fun fact from me. I have like a random idea of a script that has the exact same title.
Don't Look Back?
Yeah, like it's... And now I don't think I can use it because there's like a billion films called that.
Well, you're just joining a good tradition. Bob Dylan, Marina Devon.
Honestly, some like similarities between my idea and this film, very vague. I'm not going to talk about it.
Don't Look Ben.
Doppelganger cinema.
In Don't Look Back, Jean is a successful biography author who wants to write fiction about a woman's childhood. Coincidentally, she herself can't remember before the age of 8. Things in her life start to change mysteriously. Her apartment rearranges furniture, the appearances of her 2 children, her husband and her mother change, and then her own face and body start to transform. Jean becomes determined to find the explanation for her childhood and her metamorphosis, leading her from France to Italy and back again. This is sort of a vaguely psychological, little surreal thriller. Let's start with general reactions, boys. First of all, it should be said, if you are listening to this episode and have watched this movie, how? We went to great lengths to find this movie, and it was nigh impossible to find. And actually, I'll also say that we're still looking for a copy of Devon's latest documentary fiction hybrid feature, My Nudity Means Nothing, as a way to sort of close out this trilogy of films about women and the body that Marina has created. So if you have any leads on that, help.
If you're Marina Devon,
Oh, yeah. If you're Marina Devon, do you want to come on for an interview? That would be stellar.
I did last night Google how to contact her. We could do this.
that's how we do it on the pod. That's how we find her.
So what do you guys think of Don't Look Back?
I think it looks a little pants.
Pants?
Like, it doesn't look great. Film doesn't look great.
I've never heard that phrase.
Really? I've heard this phrase a bunch of times. I don't even know where I picked it up from.
Pants?
Pants. Anyway.
Is this the quality of the...
No, I just don't think the filmmaking, like the cinematography looks... It's a little Hallmark film for me.
Okay.
Like the lighting. It's a little, I don't know, soap opera-like. Although I will say that the special effects does work for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The morphing stuff is really almost, I would say, seamless and does work for me. I don't know how I land on this. I think it's okay. Like, I don't think it's bad. I was kind of going into this thinking it was going to be bad. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay for the kind of thriller it wants to be. This sort of losing my mind thing. It kind of reminds me of all those like recent dementia films.
Totally. Like the Anthony Hopkins one.
Or Familiar Touch, which is about dementia in an assisted living facility and people like forgetting where things are. It kind of is like these films. And those films are also, I guess, sort of thrillers-ish. Right? But this one, of course, pushing that thriller button much harder. And I think my main issue with it is that it kind of throws you right into the deep end like very quickly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And there's like no time to really be like, who is this person? And then it's very much, I guess you could say, plot to find out the answer. And then once you get the answer, then it's like, okay, I get it. But then I don't think there is like a good reason to come back to it once you kind of see it, you know, because like from a just being interesting standpoint, like aside from it being like, what's going on plot engine, it doesn't really have much else going on. I don't think the acting is that great across the board, unfortunately. But it is kind of like, I don't know, like almost like a B movie.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, there's a part where Jean and her husband are going to the theater to see a movie. And you know what movie they're showing? You can see it in a poster in the upper right-hand corner of the frame. They are showing B movie.
Yes, they are.
Jerry Seinfeld B movie.
I'm glad I set it up for you. He's
Thank
not
you, Ben.
joking. And like, you need to go watch this movie to confirm that.
Just to see the B movie.
Because you don't know. Eli could be lying to you. He really could be. But the only way you will know is to watch that movie. Watch this movie and find out. It just feels a little thin from a total construction standpoint, maybe. Like, that's kind of like where I'm landing.
That's fair.
Wilson?
I had a lot of fun. This, I admitted to the boys earlier today, this at the end of January is the very first feature film I've seen this year. And boy, what a start. I really liked it, actually. I really had a lot of fun. I think I just really love how camp this was. Like, I do think that Ben talking about this sort of like Hallmark movie quality to the cinematography made it quite funny for me to watch. And there are also elements of that in my skin as well. Like, I'm just laughing because I can't believe that this is happening on screen. But I think this is definitely on the lighter end. You don't really get a lot of like harrowing stuff that you have to like watch and digest. And I think that's why I really like enjoyed it. And I had a lot of fun just being along for the ride while shit was happening and things were going downhill for poor Jean. And very much to my surprise, she turns into film icon Monica Bellucci.
Monica Bellucci.
Like, well, hello. I was not expecting to see Miss Monica Bellucci here gracing my frame, speaking Italiano. I was I honestly really enjoyed it and like very glad that this was like such a scraping the bottom of the barrel find for us because like there would be no other context in my entire life for me to like come across this movie outside of the fact that I had to cover it for the podcast. I've grown really fond of Marina Devon and her like sick and twisted mind. I'm like, yes, go you. Like, please just do more. Do more. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for general reactions right now.
It feels like a movie you would watch if you were on holiday in France. And it was just like playing on the television in your hotel. And you're like, what is this? I'm going to watch it. And there's like no subtitles. You're like, oh, okay. And you're like, oh, Monica Bellucci. What the hell? And I think that's the only reason they're playing it on the TV for some reason.
I will say if Marina Devon did act in this would feel very different of a film than if it was these two, Sophie Marceau and Monica Bellucci. That's a big loss, right? Like, I feel like In My Skin relies so much on that performance and especially that face of hers. So yeah, without it, you just get something a little ridiculous and fun like this.
It's all like movie star looking people, you know?
Yeah.
Like doing this thing and then like, this is the thing. And I'm like, also the title needs a better title.
Yeah.
Like this title's doing very little.
Similarly to Wilson, I am also viewing this through more so the lens of Devon's career and trajectory and biography than as a sort of freestanding movie. And it's interesting because in an interview with Première Magazine from 15 years ago,
Magazine.
Sorry, I can't resist rage baiting the French listeners. I cannot resist it. She says, quote, "I see it as a continuation of In My Skin. That is to say, it is not the same object of investigation. One investigates her sensations, her body, in order to experience her reality. The other loses the appearance of her face, of all her familiar landmarks. But the question remains the same. In other words, what is true? What is real? What is alive? What is me and what is others? So for me, it was the same." So if Devon is inviting a comparison, I mean, needless to say, I prefer In My Skin of the two, but this does sort of add an interesting layer, especially knowing more of what was going on in Devon's life around the time of the release of the movie. As a movie itself, I think it's fine and it does some cool stuff. I like its final stretch the most when it sort of abandons the wordiness. I think in addition to Ben's thought about the Hallmark look, I don't always feel like I know where to look in the frame, especially in that first part when things are changing and it feels important to recognize that things are changing. I didn't always track it, which may be user error more than anything.
It's interesting how she doesn't draw attention to these things, right? It's just there in some situations, right? Like with the things moving in the house.
Yeah.
But like a lot of that stuff is not shown to you. It's told to you through dialogue rather than shown to you.
Or I know from her expression that something has changed, but I can't identify what has changed.
Yeah.
So in that filmmaking saying that third act problems are first act problems, I agree with Ben that this could use more setup time to know who Jean is at baseline. I feel like that might have made the payoff richer, but by the end, there's some weird kind of thorny stuff that I like the potential sibling incest, the mom stuff.
Potential.
Well, maybe actual.
It was kinetic. Sorry.
I get it.
Before we go too deep, I just want to say that this film's letterbox is interesting. It is a single fan, like one.
One?
Meaning that one person has put this in their 4 favorites.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah. We should interview this person.
I'm going to shout out Galseni. I don't know who this person is.
And the other 3 are quite...
Yeah, the 4 favorites, what are they? Interstellar,
Yes.
3 Colors Blue, and Once Upon a Time in America. And then you have, in second position, Don't Look Back. Kind of
incredible,
iconic. This account also like 2 months old. I don't even know.
Huh.
Wow.
And this person just watched a separation and the salesman, potential deep cut fan over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And La Cienega.
It was just an accident. And they have one review. And I guess this looks like
Turkish.
Turkish,
It's
right?
Turkish. Yeah.
I know. If you're out there, go Sene. We're looking. Follow us. You have no followers and no follower. You can follow us.
Before we go much deeper into the film itself, let me give a little bit of context. You know, I mentioned that this is Devon's second feature film. She talks about how it took more than 2 years to get the production started. The budget was about 10 million euros. Or I think the desired budget was about 10 million euros, and they wound up doing it for a much smaller budget. And the special effects and post-production meant that the whole post-production period lasted longer than a year. She speaks about working with two famous actresses and the sort of trust they had developed and sort of using their fame as a storytelling tool to sort of communicate the transition from Jean to Jean, or Sophie to Monica. The reception for the film was pretty lukewarm in Devon's description. She says that it was between two competition entries at Cannes. I think it screened out of competition in 2009. She says that the critics didn't love it, but the public was more responsive. The last piece of context, which I think sort of threads a needle from our previous episode on In My Skin, and is a revelation that kind of surprised me, and is also the thing I was referring to around the context in Devon's life, is that around the time of the release of this movie, Devon relapsed into around a 6-year addiction to cocaine, ending in 2015 with an intense treatment. And I just totally randomly stumbled on this fact from a TV interview that she gave 2 years ago, so around the time that In My Skin was being re-released in theaters, with BFM TV, a French news station, it seems, where she's speaking about her experience with cocaine addiction. And I was totally blindsided by this. I had not found it anywhere else in my context or research on Devon. But I think it adds a shade to the questions that we were asking in our previous episode around in what ways are these movies a reflection of Devon's psyche or not? I think this one is a far less direct answer than In My Skin gave, but there's still some reflection points that could be interesting to dig into.
I think thematically thinking about this in relation to In My Skin is like interesting because like similarly, I think it's something about like, I don't know, like a rejection of what the body's doing, or maybe rejection is not the right word. I mean, in this one, yes, it is a rejection, but then it's kind of a fascination with the body and what the body is saying to you. There's, I would say, a sort of disassociation that's happening in both of these films between physical experience and like what you are thinking about. There's sort of this, in My Skin, maybe like a disassociation between like pain and the grotesque with your curiosity. And then here it's like a more literal distinction between what you think of as real and what you think of as not, and what you think of as true. It's a bit more, I guess, literal in this one. A little bit less interesting, I would say, but
Agreed.
definitely like it's here like a sort of your body is kind of betraying you in this, which I think there is a little layer of that in My Skin as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that philosophical question of, is the body part of the self? This movie lands pretty firmly on the side of, there's something essential to Jean that is not her body, and the change in her body reorganizes her connection to her surroundings and her perception of her surroundings. I think the new layer here is that whereas the form of the film, the editing grammar of In My Skin changes across the runtime to replicate that change in relationship to the body, here, special effects are doing that work of sort of rejiggering how we perceive the movie itself. That stuff I'm interested in, even if it maybe doesn't fully cohere.
I feel like the stuff with the special effects takes over the movie too much. Like noticing like the boyfriend or husband, his eye color is changing or something. Stuff like that. It's like interesting, but like it's also not that interesting. You know what I mean? Like I know something is up. I actually don't need this blue context to really sell this to me. What I need is more of like, what does it really mean for like the relationship? Or, like to have like a more interesting conversation where like she doesn't know where she is or like who she is. That would be a bit more interesting, I think, rather than like just a portrayal of her disassociating with what she's seeing, which is very similar to the kind of dementia stuff, like in, say, The Father with Anthony Hopkins, right? Where that spends a lot of time also showing you the experience of losing your memory in a cinematic, quote unquote, way. Depending on how you think about it, a sort of flashy thing to do with the subject matter. Here, it's not dementia, it's something a bit more, I guess you could say, fantastical. It's not fully maybe realistic. It is trying to be a bit realistic, but it's not fully realistic, I think. So it doesn't have that kind of problem, but it also kind of spends a bit too much time trying to like show you the way that it evolves, the way that her disassociation evolves. And like, it's not that interesting to watch. I'm more interested in the repercussions, I would say.
Yeah. And because it doesn't spend a lot of time setting up the relationships at the start, the repercussions don't emotionally land a ton for me.
Yeah, I was thinking about that specifically with her relationship with her kids, which I think drew the biggest off-putting reaction from her when her kids started shifting into other children. I would have liked a little bit more of a connection there between her and her kids that would have warranted like me connecting with her more when that shift happens. But first, I want to clear things up because I'm a little unsure as to like what exactly is happening.
What's happening
to this woman. So can I like talk through what I believe is is happening?
You got this.
Okay, so French girl Jeanne and her family, they travel to Italy when she is 8 years old. And they go to this restaurant where this other woman and her daughter, Rosa Maria, are working at this restaurant. And the families become really close. Rosa Maria, young Rosa Maria, and young Gian become really close as well. For some reason, Rosa Maria's family decides to send her away with Jean's family. No.
No, but it's also not important.
No.
Yeah, I don't know why they send their Italian daughter away with this French family, but
yeah, and then they basically tell the brother Gianni that she died.
No. Wait, what? That's
Gianni's the Italian brother.
Oh, Gianni.
So Italian family is restaurant owner Gianni, the boy, Rosa Maria, the daughter.
I missed the part where they told her brother that she died.
Well, he's convinced that she. Wait.
That's why he's freaking out.
Yeah, when Monica Bellucci visits Italy, Gianni's like, you look like someone I know. But they start sleeping together anyway. So if he thinks it's his sister, why is he sleeping with her?
I think he is like, I recognize you, but I don't know why. Because like, it's like been 30 years, right? Or whatever.
No, but then he says the person who you look like died.
Oh, okay. Then... But it's because she came on to him and she's saying she's somebody else.
Yes, that's why. It's fine. We can talk about the incest later. Wait.
So did this answer your question?
No, not yet. So then they get into a car crash that kills the dad, kills Jean's brother, and kills Jeanne herself. And then Rosa Maria, from that car crash, loses all memory of her Italian life and assumes the role and life of Jeanne.
Yeah.
And then now in the future, Jeanne, old Rosa Maria, now reincarnated Jeanne, is realizing her true self through this transformation that's happening and her world crumbling apart, and then returns back to Italy, reconnects with her actual mother and actual brother, who then again sends her away because she's not a part of the family. And then she comes back home and the ghost of real Jeanne, the girl that died in the car crash, is there and watching her have fake Jean live her supposed life and is really happy, and then they write a novel together.
That shot where all four hands are on the keyboard of the laptop is so good.
That's why I was like, I'm texting you guys. I was like, guys, this ending is so funny.
But there's also the shot right before that where like it's just both of their racks in that low cut countertop. And I'm like, damn, Devon is cooking right now. Like,
She
so
knows
unnecessary.
what she's working with.
I was like, what? No, but anyway, it's not a ghost. It's like a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, like she is Jean and Rosa Maria.
It's both her. Like she basically like to deal with the death of like her, I guess you could say best friend at the time, she becomes her friend. And I feel like I've seen this story before. It sounds very familiar. I feel like I've seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler for, well, I can't say what. It's
he's talking
Nickel
about-
Boys.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you were going to spoil a different movie right now. Yes, we spoiled this movie,
Wait.
yes.
What movie?
I thought you were going to say the movie I was like maybe thinking about, but I don't have
So
a
not
reference.
Nickel Boys, another movie that we're spoiling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I haven't even seen Nickel Boys. I've read the novel.
Oh yeah. I forgot about it. Yeah, same
God.
fucking movie.
Oh my God.
I mean, very different movie, but actually, weird segue back into Don't Look Back, but I found myself thinking of Michael Haneke's Cachet.
Yeah.
Because that is a sort of like hidden, awful childhood movie that comes back to haunt an adult that intersects with political, like geopolitical history between France and Algiers. And I couldn't help but wonder, what if instead of Italy, there was some kind of indictment of colonialism or French foreign policy in the nation that the Rosa Maria character is from? Like, I could not help but think that would punch up this movie to another level.
I guess don't go there.
It's also kind of like queer, huh? Like this little body dysmorphia happening here, right? Like,
No, multiple of the top reviews on Don't Look Back mention transness and sort of feeling a link to that. So I think that's part of this. In the same way that lens often gets applied to Cronenberg's work with body transformation, right?
Yeah. It's like when you don't know what your body is and your body scares you.
And it's your connection to the physical world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like when you talk about it, it's like interesting. Then I guess when you look at what this movie is, it's like, oh, it's just a thriller, I guess. Like it's just this thriller with a little incest sprinkled in.
It's so fun though. It's so fun. And I feel like it's so worth it just to get to that final scene when they're typing on the laptop together with their beautiful rags.
God. I will say, of the two Jeans, Monica Bellucci turns in the better performance than Sophie Marceau, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And that's also where I couldn't help but think, what if it were Marina Devon instead of Sophie Marceau? Because whereas Marina Devon in My Skin often has kind of an inscrutable expression, Sophie Marceau is telegraphing in a way that feels like acting.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
She feels more like a soap opera actor.
Yeah.
And she also kind of has the look. She has the look of one as well.
And someone in the movie's even like, you shouldn't have highlighted tips in your hair. Which version of Teo do you like better? Who's better looking?
One of them we barely get to see though.
Oh, the one that's not the brother.
Yeah, not Johnny.
He's definitely more good looking, I think. I think Johnny looks more like...
Johnny's more good looking.
You think Johnny's more good looking? I don't agree with that.
Really?
I don't agree with
No.
that. I'm not saying that.
His eyes are like weirdly, I don't know, there's something like protruding out or something.
Other Teo has much more like traditional, like masculine attractiveness.
He looks like Matt Rogers, kind of.
Sure.
Yes.
Whereas like Johnny is a more like, he's just less traditionally like hot guy.
Interesting.
But that's why I think the real one, he's like, I guess the real one, he looks more like, I don't know, more like stock model.
Yeah.
He looks less real, which kind of makes sense maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking about Gianni, like the incest, I was like, what? I was like, it took her having his dick in her for her to be like, something's wrong.
Did they get to it?
Oh, yeah. But like the whole time he's like, I'm not that guy. And she's like, no, no, no. Then the moment he gets in there, she's like, oh, yeah, this is wrong. I'm like, oh, okay.
I guess the way that sort of sex in this film like sort of activates her fight or flight.
Yeah, totally.
There are multiple times that this happens, right, with the husband and with Johnny, that it's whenever she starts getting intimate, she's like, I don't recognize you. Fuck off. And I'm trying to think back to In My Skin and that relationship with sex as well. And I wonder if there's something that Marina Devon wants to sort of explore with that.
I think you're definitely onto something because it makes a lot of sense. Like in this movie, like we're talking about like the porousness between my physical self and the world around me. But like sex is a essentially penetrative act that breaks that barrier, right? Then that causes a trigger of like the external world is literally, unfortunately, I'm going to say this, the external world is coming inside you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. The language of English is not able to keep up here. and like, I think that makes sense as to why that makes it difficult. Well, that's the trigger point. And then in My Skin, she's a character that's like, remind me if I'm wrong here, like she's like afraid of intimacy or something. There's like some moments where like the guy is like, you like, sometimes you don't want me to touch you.
Yes. I remember that. Yeah.
So she has some like intimacy problems in that one, which also maybe is like, oh, I'm trying to keep the outside world out because I'm trying to go inside myself. I'm more interested, which is like kind of something like there.
Yeah.
This weirdly does connect to Dark Touch, Devon's 2013 feature, in which a young girl who is a survivor of abuse develops supernatural powers and kind of telekinetic powers and can start fires and stuff. It's, again, unfortunately not good, not well executed, but conceptually, this is very much so of a piece. And weirdly, looking at the trajectory from In My Skin to Don't Look Back to Hop on My Thumb to Dark Touch, it's Devon going from focusing on a character played by herself to other adult women. And by the end of the movie, a child who is sort of the young Rosa Maria coming in as the replacement for Monica Bellucci. The next two films of hers are about children. And Dark Touch is sort of about violence against children and the changes in body and psyche and ability to this one child. So, Ben, what you just said kind of does unlock Don't Look Back as part of an arc for Marina Devon. I just wish that she had more chances to continue that arc.
Yeah, I always do think that the ideas at play are really interesting. Even though, like, I guess both films that we've talked about have just been basically one situation extended over the course of a feature film length. I appreciate it. I appreciate the in-depth, like, just going all out for this one thing.
Yeah, agreed.
What In My Skin has is that it's not trying to be a traditional genre picture. And I think that's what makes it a bit more interesting to think about. Because its shape is so different. Like the shape of this one is very clear because of it's trying to be a sort of B-movie thriller in some way. You know what I mean? It's trying to get you to a certain point, trying to deliver you the twist. And then here's the real reason things are going fucked up. And then like how the film like kind of closes out. It's kind of like, I don't know, like kind of like an M. Night movie. You know, like an older M. Night movie.
The question mark of an ending in My Skin really lets it linger more than the endings of either Don't Look Back or Dark Touch do for me. It's tidy here in a way that I was more interested when the movie was kind of indeterminate. And, you know, that dancing scene at the Italian family's home when Monica Bellucci has wandered, and I was like, this is great. Like, this is just sort of showing me something happening and not explaining it. It's like a very uncomfortably filmed kind of movement of Monica Bellucci jumping up and down in frame. That kind of stuff where it's not so resolved or clear was more compelling to me.
Actually, that scene I think of as like quite interesting because it shows you stuff that you don't understand.
Exactly.
Like all the random Italians that are like looking at her, and you're like, why? And like you don't get it. And there's something more interesting about the way that delivers information compared to any other part of the film from before that, where it's very direct and like very like first draft of the screenplay kind of like informational. Whereas like that scene's like a bit more interesting on top of the fact that it looks more interesting and it's more dynamic as well. Just like that kind of creating a sort of mystery, and a mystery in which you are with a character, trying to be like becoming as uncomfortable as a character in that moment. And that we understand why that makes sense, because all these people also sort of recognize her because she's from here, right? But it's never really explained that that's the case. And like you never really talk to any of these other Italians, but it makes sense once you know what happens later. But I think if it had a bit more of that kind of like roughness or like sort of looseness, I think it would have been a bit more interesting and feel less like a B movie, because B movies tend to be very linear in their logic, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
That it enters a space of being kind of like encoded in a way that eludes the grasp of logic. And I liked that portion of it. Or like when we're in her eyes watching the Italian mother kind of wander from room to room, just always a little bit out of reach. That stuff is interesting too. It's geographically weird. It's emotionally unpinnable. That stuff. I was like, this is Devon. Like I've seen this.
Mm-hmm. I will say a lot of like the special effects outside of the face morphing stuff, which is really good, I found to be quite effective and very simple in a way, right? Like there's like a lot of the stuff where she's in the bedroom and one of the rooms and things start stretching. The image basically just gets longer or shorter, just playing with that. And then there's like a really nice dolly zoom out that happens in that sequence as well. Like I really liked that. And also this is just very simple filmmaking techniques that are just being applied really effectively in the right moment. And I'm glad that she waited until the end to really use those, because I guess so much other stuff was happening that I felt like, oh, okay, there's not much left in the toolbox for you to do. It still made that final sequence stand out from the rest of the film. And yeah, a worthy ending for a film, I guess, that was really like boiling the whole time.
Agreed.
I just looked this up and I was like, yeah, it makes sense now. Like it also kind of reminded me of Possession.
Oh, yeah.
But like from the other perspective, maybe. And a bit less freaky, maybe, because the explanation is all more realistic than Possession, which is like fucking demons.
Truly fucking demons. Yes, that's what she's doing.
Like a wife is going crazy. What do I do? Kind of cinema. Except this one is from like the wife's perspective, and like she thinks everyone else is crazy, which is kind of an interesting inversion on what we typically get, which is usually more, I don't know, more patriarchal perspective. I just wish it was a bit more like interesting, or like it just was freakier maybe at the beginning. And like once we got the main exposition out of the way, just like kind of going more into developing kind of like horror house for her, where like the world is going crazy.
Yeah.
But it's pretty mild. It was just mostly like my husband has blue eyes now and I don't understand that. And I was like,
my husband's wearing blue contacts and is moving his arm in a weird way.
Yeah. I thought that was like going to be something, but it wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a reference to something, but it wasn't.
You know, speaking of another thing that sort of gets put out there and not followed up on is the video camera stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
That could have been a really cool self-reflexive angle. And all the mirrors at the start of the movie.
Yeah.
That there are a couple pieces of grammar that get introduced and then dropped. Well, I both realistically know that it's going to be hard to find other Devon movies, and also am hesitant to say that this is the end of our run on Devon. I think similar to some of our other series like Hong, where we'll sort of come back sporadically, I do kind of want to call my shot and say that I want to find My Nudity Means Nothing. I want to find Top of My Thumb, at least to view them and sort of know what the rest of her filmmaking career looks like. She also has tons of novels that she's written out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think this is a sort of, in keeping with the end of In My Skin, this is a ... conclusion to the series for now.
Yeah, I think it's been really lovely exploring these films of Marina Devon. Thank you, Eli, for putting her on my radar. It is, yeah, definitely someone that I have been intrigued by and will seek out a new film or another film of hers when I can. I hope she's doing okay. Like, yeah,
Same.
I
Yeah.
hope she's doing okay.
I just finished reading that book. And I think I referenced it on the previous Devon episode, if I'm not wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I totally did, right? Night Vision. I finished reading that today,
Oh, wow.
coincidentally. And like the book is about how like the dark things that you kind of experience sometimes, not that they're necessarily good, but it doesn't mean that they're bad because they're like also like just part of like human life,
Yeah.
you know, and like sometimes they have utility. Depression, grief, anxiety, all these like bad feelings that we try and tamp down. Like sometimes they have productive uses, and sometimes that productive use is art. And that's what Devon is doing with whatever her films or like probably her novels as well.
In My Skin has a sort of comfortable and uncomfortable ambivalence with those feelings and those experiences. Don't Look Back sort of winds up at a place of more explicit peace with the contradictions and self-knowledge that Rosa Maria Orjan has gained.
I mean, if you think about that piece, that's also somewhat radical because usually in a horror movie, one of these identities wins. But in this one, they write the novel together.
Yeah,
which is
true.
kind of, I don't know, like it's kind of radical if you think about it. It's kind of saying that like
it is
accepting your kind of metaphor for like schizophrenia and like being like, let me accept my two halves, which one of them is imagined, and you don't even know which one's imagined at this point. And let me accept both and allow both of them to run this single little body. And like that is not usually how some of these things go.
Yeah.
True.
Right. And there's something somewhat radical about that. And also, in a way, that's kind of accepting a darkness in you. Right. It's not like she's telling her husband, oh, actually, there's another woman in my head. Like, she's not even doing it. She's just like, I'm just going to live with that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to let it happen. You know, so like, in a way, I would say that's sort of a radical way of ending the movie.
It is.
You know, and
it
like
is.
accepting of darkness rather than trying to sweep it under the rug or like to cut it out of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And she gets to return to her family. No one is killed or harmed in the movie. Yeah, there is a sort of return home changed. Thank you for listening to Deep Cut. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts to help others discover the show. A great way to support us is to leave a review or comment on our episodes directly on Spotify. If you want to chat with us and other fans of Deep Cut, come join our Discord server where we talk about movies, TV, music, and share what we're up to. If you'd like to share a message with us or have business inquiries, feel free to drop an email at hello@deepcutpod.com. We do read them, and we will try to get back to you. I feel like that needs like,
We read
fancy
them.
script in quotation marks, trademark. We read them, and we will try to get back to you. Ding! We also have a Patreon if you'd like to support us with a monthly subscription. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters, and a very special thanks to our Patreon Deep Cut Pick supporters, Leah Lai and Nicholas Gao. You can keep up with Deep Cut on Instagram, Letterboxd, and X at Deep Cut Pod. Click the link in the description or go to deepcutpod.com to find links to everything we've mentioned here. Deep Cut is hosted and produced by us, Wilson Lai, Benjamin Yap, and Eli Sands. Our cover art is designed by Justina Yam, and our theme song is composed by myself.
I'm Wilson.
I'm Ben.
I'm Eli. Take care, and we're looking forward to talking about more movies with you next time.
Woo!
And you should look back on all our previous episodes.
Yeah!
Yeah.
In my podcast feed.
Okay.
That's a bit of a stretch.